But what does it actually mean to win a Formula One championship? How do pit stops, tire choices, and team strategies shape the outcome? And who are the real legends that inspired the story? In this video, I'll break it all down, so by the end, you'll not only understand F1, the movie, better, but you'll also be able to follow real F1 races, like a true fan. It contains some spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie, you should watch with caution. However, it's a movie where spoilers don't really matter. Everyone knows the protagonist wins the championship. The film's setting. The film's design is based on the 2023 F1 season schedule. Originally, the 2023 season was planned to have 24 races. Due to the pandemic and flooding, the Chinese Grand Prix, R4, and the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, R7, were canceled, resulting in 22 races. In the film, Jack Banning, Pitt, joins the Apex team at Silverstone. Looking at the real-life calendar, this means only 9 races were left in the season, which is one of the first differences between the film and reality. Silverstone Circuit. I believe the film's decision to start with the Silverstone Circuit was a deliberate one. This track has an incredibly rich history, having been a leader since the very first F1 race. You could say that the Silverstone Circuit is the very symbol of British motorsport. Over 70 to 80 years, it has undergone countless modifications to become the track it is today. The circuit features long straights and many high-speed corners, along with extremely tricky low to medium speed turns. It's common for drivers who aren't familiar with the track to go wide on the S-bends. The track record was set by Verstappen in 2020 with a lap time of 1 minute 27 seconds. That's the same driver the protagonist complained about in the movie, saying, "He's really fast." In the film, rookie driver Joshua Pierce's best practice lap time was 1 minute 30 seconds, showing a huge gap to the track record. The reason for this is that Silverstone, as a high-speed circuit, places extremely high demands on a car's aerodynamic package. At this point in the movie, the Apex team is struggling with their aero design, which is why their car can't generate the proper downforce, leading to what they call a push and pull issue. During Pitt's test drive, you can clearly see the car's design flaws. The layout of the Silverstone circuit shows that the final Priory and Luffield turns are a super low-speed S-bend, followed by a long, medium-speed right-hand turn. If a driver applies too much throttle, the car immediately loses control and crashes. Fortunately, the Silverstone starting line is in a strange location. It's not at the end of the main straight, but rather very close to the start of it. So much so that drivers at the back of the grid can't even see the starting lights. This also explains why, despite Pitt crashing at the end of his test, he still managed to drift across the finish line, meeting the driver performance requirements and successfully joining the team as the second driver. Aerodynamics. For those new to racing, it might be hard to understand why a few plastic bits could have such a huge impact on a car. Let's break it down. In the world of extreme racing, no matter how much power a car has, as long as it's a car and not a plane, its movement relies on the contact between its 4 tires and the ground. Any car modification is based on improving the tire's grip on the road. The only parts of a car that interact with the ground are the tires, or more accurately, the tire contact patches. A 4-wheeled car only has 4 small patches of contact with the ground. And it's these 4 patches that ensure the car stays glued to the road and doesn't flip over. In high school physics, you might have learned that friction is independent of the contact area and depends on the coefficient of friction. However, the real physical model is not that simple. In reality, with the same tire material, a larger contact patch always results in greater friction. This is why performance cars use wider tires. Wider tires provide more grip. In F1, however, all the rules are strict. Engineers can't just widen the tires indefinitely. So they have to approach the problem from another angle. This is where a car's vertical load, or the downward pressure on the tires, comes in. This isn't limited by rules or basic physics and can directly change grip. By increasing downforce instead of adding weight, which would increase inertia, the pressure between the tire and the ground increases. The friction formula is F equals mu times Fn. As downforce, Fn increases, so does friction. This method can directly increase the grip limit and thus improve cornering speed before the tires overload. A lighter car is more agile and puts less stress on the brakes. That's the purpose of lightweighting. In a series like F1, with uniform rules and car weights, the best solution for improving grip is aerodynamics. At high speeds, aero provides additional downforce without the higher tire wear that comes with more inertia. When there are issues with the aero design, it directly changes how the car handles. This is shown in the movie where the Apex team's car is almost impossible to control when following another car due to turbulent air. This results in a car that is both difficult to drive and slow, putting it at a huge disadvantage compared to the competition. There are countless examples of this in real life. When a car's design unit has problems, it might even be labeled as F1.5. And if the car is damaged, it's nearly impossible to drive at the limit for long, as its handling characteristics change rapidly and drastically, leading to a loss of control. Fun tire changes. When watching the movie for the first time, many people are amazed at how fast F1 teams change tires. In contrast, the Apex team's slow tire changes make them look like a struggling operation. In reality, these choking moments do happen. However, compared to a normal car, F1 tire changes are incredibly fast. In the world of F1, every second counts. A 1-second delay in the pit stop can mean the difference between getting on the podium or not. So, what's the secret to these lightning-fast pit stops? The F1 pit crew is a highly specialized team. Each tire has a dedicated crew of 3. 1 to remove the old tire, 1 to mount the new one, and 1 to operate the wheel gun. In addition to these 12 people, 3 per tire, there are also crew members with jacks at the front and back to lift the car, and others to stabilize the car to prevent it from shaking. They work together like a well-oiled assembly line, having practiced their movements day and night until they become muscle memory. This is a huge difference from everyday tire service teams. Another key factor is the wheel hub itself. Your personal car likely has 5 lug nuts on each wheel, but F1 cars have only 1. This is due to a central lock wheel design, which allows for a single nut to be removed and installed to change the tire. The screw threads are also designed to tighten under the immense torque of forward motion, so they only get tighter as the car drives without needing to be manually tightened multiple times. Speaking of loosening the nut, they use an impact wrench powered by compressed air. This tool has incredibly high torque and rotation speed, allowing it to remove the nut in just a fraction of a second. This is a world away from the old days of using a hammer on a wrench. It's the precise combination and cooperation of all these elements that creates the 2-second pit stop miracle. However, a perfect pit stop is not always possible. For example, the Sauber team, then Alfa Romeo, had an average pit stop time of over 4 seconds in the first half of 2023, only improving to just over 3 seconds in the second half. And sometimes, a stripped nut can make it impossible to remove a wheel, forcing a car to retire. In that case, the pit stop time would be counted in days. That's it for part 1. Please stay tuned for part 2.